Future-Proof is sponsored by Learn Smart Academy, online revision courses for GCSE and A-Level. All your revision in one place, organised for you, interactive and game-changing.
Welcome back from the break. Thank you so much for joining me, Sarah Hopwood, on this wonder. I just love doing Future Proof. I just love the thought of just knowledge sharing, and do contact me if you've got anything that you want to add in this debate, for want of a better word, but in this drive to knowledge share, to leave nuggets of inspiration and help, if you like, for anybody. And if you want to get involved with that, then do contact me, because I'm very, very keen to support any valuable knowledge sharing initiatives. So going into the break, I was talking about we're talking about presentation skills here, being a confident speaker, and talking about the structure of EAS. So exposing what it is that you want to say, giving the audience an activity of some sort which ties up with the sensory, the five senses, and then you summarise what you're talking about. But we can all get so nervous, and I want to talk about that now, because if you don't find a way for the nerves to, if you like, play out physically, then your body will automatically present nervous energy, and you don't even know it. How many times have you watched somebody, for example, standing on a squeaky floorboard? They are totally oblivious that the floorboard is squeaking, but they are nervously rocking on it. Or people who march up and down a stage the whole time. You can't focus and listen to what they're saying, because your eyes are ricocheting in your head whilst you're following them around, and it's nervous energy. So what I always say is decide how to get rid of it. And one way, and you've watched me demonstrating it already, one way is to use your hands. So some people will say, and here is an example of this, but if you do that, and what they're doing is, by using their hands, they are channeling the nervous energy, which stops them rocking on a creaky floorboard or marching up and down a stage, because they have chosen the way for the nervous energy to go. And the other thing too is practice. Once you've prepared, get in front of a camera. And I remember years ago presenting to a mirror, a long mirror, and I would do it 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 15 times. So you can see and watch how you're playing your nervous energy, and then when you're on stage, you know exactly what the audience are seeing as well. So it's really, really powerful. So the design is to determine your EAS, which I've talked about, exposition, activity, and summary. Prepare the introduction, prepare the summary, so that's primacy and recency, and test for the FAR-MOP, the 7 learning principles. Just test that you've covered every single one of them. So designing aids that are required, trial video I've talked about, and also do it in front of a small audience, and then take corrective corrective action. They will tell you what needs to be done and give you honest feedback, and don't get offended. And also though, if you disagree, if you've watched and videoed yourself and you disagree, then stick to your original plan. It's a bit like parenting. Mums and dads know what's what. So, yes, listen, but equally, if you are utterly convinced you're right, then don't be swayed. But test it, really key. Planning in the breaks. And I've done this when sometimes I've said to people, I've asked when I can speak, because I understand what happens with the blood sugar and what have you. So just remember that there's things called like the graveyard slot. When the blood sugars are low, that usually happens after a meal, or when people are thinking about going home. And when I'm presenting all day, running workshops, then you can take this knowledge and factor in activities to counter some of those, for want of a better word, those distractions. So role play, for example, I've always put on at the end of a day. So people are up out their seats, and they're actually role playing all the learning that they've had through the day. And so it stops them thinking about their train journey home, and also the audience, the people who are watching them role play their learning, are relearning what you taught them earlier in the day. And then when it's their turn, their role play will be teaching somebody else and affirming the learning of the day. So really, really powerful. So key tips: please have a good start and a finish. Really channel in your nervous energy. You know whether you get nervous or not. Address it. Don't take it as a given. say, right, I get quite nervous, so therefore I'm going to plan the stage. So imagine, I don't know, like a Shakespeare play. I'm going to walk forcefully over here. I'm going to stand, I'm going to pick that up. Then I'm going to walk back over there. Then I'm going to put my hands up in the air. And you literally program in how to channel out your nervous energy. Always focus on them, not you. I would say when I'm preparing, it's all about me getting it right. Once I'm on that stage, it has nothing to do with me anymore. I'm hopefully prepared enough that I can just keep playing and running, if you like, what I'm supposed to be doing. I am reading, listening, watching, engaging with the audience to check that they are absorbing, if you like, or interacting or even disagreeing with what is being said, because then you know that you're doing the job that you're being paid to do. 95% contact with your eyes. There's nothing worse than a speaker that won't engage. You can do that when you get nervous, so get in the room early. Teach yourself, just say, right, I'm going to focus on the clock to begin with, because I'll be so nervous I won't be able to look at anybody, and literally almost play a game with yourself so that you can get eye contact as soon as possible. Build in activities, research the audience, video colleague practice, which I've talked about. Always finish on time, or you need to be ready to change in case the event organizer needs you to either extend or actually shorten your presentation time. So factor in some rhetorical questions that you could ask the audience if you needed to go on a little bit longer, or indeed work out what your key points are if you have to shorten it. Always put down your notes. Walking around with notes and talking, it's a bit like walking around with a mobile phone. You don't mean to do it, but what you're effectively saying is my notes are more important than you are. And so put your notes down on a table and leave them, and walk back to them if you need to. And if you are doing video, what have you, then do get some video presentation training. As I say, I bought off of Groupon. There are other things, and also there's much on the web now. And of course, we as a business, I've delivered, for a whole team of partners of a big accountancy firm. They were here for a full day's training, and I've had, consultants from hospitals and all sorts. So there's different levels of training available for everybody of all needs. So in summary, attributes of a good presenter: setting up the environment we've covered, the understanding of 7 learning principles, the structure of EAS, and the key tips. And then of course you go into any questions. Now the last thing I want to talk to you about is when, and it's on the back of people commenting and saying to me, Sarah, I don't know how you can talk for so long without notes. And I use something called bus stops. And I got this from the Professional Speaking Association. And it's where in my head, and it ties up with inviting people to come on a journey. Imagine you're a bus at a bus stop, and you're literally the bus, not the bus driver, you're the bus. And what you're effectively saying is, will you come on a journey with me? And they can easily say no. So the way you open up a presentation is very, very important. Then you get them on the bus, and then you take them on a journey, and then of course they then get off of the bus, which is why how you finish your presentation is so important, because you're thinking, what are they going to do when they get off the bus? So what happens in the middle that enables me to present without notes? Sticking with the bus stop theme, I have in my head designated bus stops, and with each bus stop I have a small little agenda that will drop down. And I literally have this, because I'm visual now, I have this kind of picture in my head. So when I prepare, and particularly coming towards the end of the preparation, the only thing I then revise right at the end is what is the heading for each bus stop that I stop at, and what are the subheadings. And then what's the heading here, and what are the subheadings. And so if I'm thrown, if there's a fire alarm, if somebody's sick, I don't know, if there's something that happens, then all I need to do is to go back to a particular bus stop, and then the smaller agenda then drops down from it, and I can pick up very, very easily where I am. So what I do is I invite people onto the bus. I then, if you like, have 5 bus stops along the journey, and then I imagine the people getting off the bus. Each bus stop I get to, I then think of what is a mini agenda under that heading. what's that heading, what's the mini agenda. And that's how I do it. And so when it's like a scroll, so once I've delivered the mini agenda, it rolls up and goes away. I then move in my head to another bus stop. Another really good way of doing that is actually to use the stage to help you. So you can then draw a stage on a piece of paper, think of your bus stop, and then for each place that you're going to stand in the on the stage, that could represent your bus stop. So you then got a physical image that is helping you as well. The other thing that people have done is have bits of paper maybe on the floor around those bus stops where you can write down some key notes which will help you stay on course. And I'll never forget being on a cruise with Tom O'Connor. His wife was always in the front row, and we always knew that under the seat or somewhere, if there was ever a pause where it looked uncertain, then a little show card would come up to help. So what's my key point? 70% of success is preparation. So good luck preparing.